start with brief meditation and then I'll continue with my talk. Sit straight with your head, neck and back in a straight line. Just for a few minutes, we will gather our thoughts so that we can take away maximum learning from this talk. Choose to be here in this moment. And to be here, we have to mentally give up our worries, anxieties, thought associations, fears, inhibitions, and just be. Just for a few minutes, leave this body alone. Try not to move, try not to heed to the needs of this body. Let it be. And to disassociate mentally from this physical form, we require grace, we require blessings, a lot of fortitude. Thus, mentally offer your salutations to your own personal God, Ishta Devata. Seek the grace of Bhagavan. Offer your mental salutations to your own personal guide, Guru. Lead your mind's awareness to your feet. Relax them. Just with a simple thought. Lead your awareness to your ankles, your knees, your thighs, the seat of your body. Relax it. Lead your mind's awareness to your navel. The residence of causal body. Our desires are perched there. Our vasanas. Release a simple prayer. O Lord, may all my desires lead me to thy holy feet. Lead your awareness to your chest. Feel your own pulse. You can feel it in your throat, in your ears. You have to be very attentive. It is the residence of the Rajoguna of Prakriti, creation at its best. Lead your awareness to your face. See a smile. Lead your mind's awareness to the very center of your forehead, the spiritual eye. Dive deep within. Arrive in a sacred chamber of silence. Remain still. This divine silence is the support of all words, origin of all. Take a deep breath in. Gently rub your hands Place the tip of your fingers over your eyes. Release a simple prayer. May this vision in life be rooted in divine silence presence. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Mukti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanunamardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Hari Om. Namaste, salutations to everyone. Look at the irony of the evening. I came from Texas to listen to this talk from Swamiji. I thought, what a brilliant topic. I'll get a chance to listen from Swamiji. Wealth management and health management. What a relevant topic. Never did I even, in my dreams, realize that I would be talking on the same topic. This is what it is. This is what life is. We have to be ready for anything. Such a beautiful topic. Life. In life, I do a lot of Harry Potter camps with kids. And they absolutely love it. The entire, Hinduism can be taught through that movie. So I asked them, I said, what is the first scene that the movie starts with? And they give me all sorts of answers, and some have read the book and everything. The first scene is Privet Drive and an owl is perched on it. And there's so much deep meaning in it. Life is so personal. And that Privet Drive, each one of us has a very unique life. We've arrived over here, brought some vasanas, some desires, and we have to learn to unpack them. And the owl which is perched on it, in our Hinduism, every single deity has a vehicle, a vahana. And owl is a vahana of goddess of wealth, Lakshmi. So each one of us has a private life, a personal life, but each one of us brings a wealth. A unique wealth of a packet of vasanas and desires. And our job is to unfold it. And the art in living is in the art of managing one's own self. And more than anything else, it is the management of mind. We are given instrument, the physical form. The physical body is a gross instrument. And the driver is a very subtle intellect. And oscillating between the gross and the very subtle buddhi is the subtle mind. Mind is subtle, But mind is in a very unique position that it gets very fascinated by the world of objects. And when it gets fascinated, the mind drifts more towards the grosser world. But if that mind is taken care of, and if the mind is educated from early on about the ABCs of life, in spite of living in a very in a world filled with temptations, the mind can adhere to robust teachings, which are part of our own subtle being. And if we can somehow bring that mind closer to knowledge, then we will be able to lead this life, navigate this life on a divine path, on a good path. And the good path is not to show it to someone. Good path is for myself to benefit. We are denizens of this planet for mere 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years as per the will of the Lord. And we have to maximize it. We forget we are spiritual beings. We forget we are divine beings. And we live at a very gross physical world. Just while walking some 30, 40 blocks from where I am staying to over here, I was talking to Shubhani ji. I was just looking at, perfectly sculpted people all dressed up and, working out, and everybody taking immaculate care of their physical form. We exercise and we keep the body healthy. The clothes are, this is the fashion capital of the universe. I look like somebody parading on a Halloween day, So, for me it is Nitya Halloween Avastha. But we look at, people, the hair is perfect, the makeup is perfect, the clothing is perfect, the umbrella is perfect. Everything. And what we should perfect, we neglect it. We are living our life so much at a sensory level, physical level, that we forget who is peeping through these eyes. The peeper who peeps through the eyes has nothing to do with the makeup, the dress, the form. Aphorism, which is in our Vedas, it reveals our identity as we are divine beings. Our mistaken identity is, I am this form. Moha, forgetfulness. Maha moha, great moha, is when we forget that we are actually divine. And when we forget ourselves, we assume identities. With body, I become the owner of some objects. I become owner of some temporary apartment. As it is, this body is for rent for a few years. Then we buy some property and we become owners of that property, and we have to mow lawn, and at least you don't have to do it over here. I have 27 acres. I have to worry about that. So in Texas, everything is big. Small ashram and 27 acres, I have a whole mountain in San Antonio, and if that's not enough, in Austin, another 10 acres. So, it's like, take care of this land. We have to, owners of the property, we have to maintain it. Owners of the physical form, we have to maintain it. Identify with it. Our precious time evaporates in it. And if somebody, in process of doing that, if somebody says few words, we become emotional. Or somebody didn't say few words and we are still hurt. We are emotional beings, physical beings, and intellectually we are driven by our own ideas and ideologies. कहाँ से आई मालूम नहीं, बस अच्छा लगा कर दिया. From where ideas come, we don't know. But I know my way is the right way. And it becomes difficult for the spouse, the child, the co-worker, the neighbor, the society, and I am a perennial burden to everybody else. Because ideology, I own up. Emotions, I own up. Physical things, I own up. And our life goes in maintenance of all these things. And Bhagavan Krishna very beautifully summarizes it. Yoga and Kshema. In acquisition of it, and in the preservation of it, our vitality in life is drained out. These are the teachings of Upanishads. This little boy called Nachiketa goes to the Lord of Death to learn, and this Lord of Death tempts him, with physical things, objects, with emotional things. I will make you the king, I will make you the enjoyer. And this boy, a little 9-year-old, rejects it. You keep all your dance and damsels and all these things. I'm here for a purpose. Sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. What you have given me, alpameva, what you have given me is little. These objects are very little. And in the process of enjoying these objects, we don't know if the objects are enjoying us or we are enjoying the objects. They are taking us for a ride. Our fascination for objects takes us for a ride, and then who is more powerful, the object or us? The object has the last laugh. We lose that little iPhone and fish out of the water. Arey, abhi main kya karu? Arey, 25 years ago there was no iPhone. People lived happily without phones. It was a rotodial phone. You have to wait for the 9 to come all the way back again to dial. And yet life continued. But our paralysis comes from unexamined life. And if a life is not examined, it is not worth living. That same little boy, when he leaves his father, he tells, "Oh Father, what great have you done by raising me? Because one grain of rice, when it is sown, it comes up and it produces 100 more rice grains, and it feeds and fills the belly of other people. But what have you done? Produce me." The little birds in the nest, they are also raising the next generation. By raising me, what have you achieved if you have not imparted to me the purpose of living? The little bird, the mother bird and the father bird catches the worms and feeds this little baby, and as it is growing, once it is grown, it teaches how to fly, which is the purpose of the bird. And we intelligent beings, roof and crown of creation, if we cannot teach the next generation the ABCs of the purpose of life, then what have we achieved? A degree from be Boston University or Harvard or Stanford or Berkeley, it gives a stamp of approval, probably that this person knows some engineering, some medicine, some biochemistry. But no university can give a degree in providing to us the purpose of life. This comes from deep examination. We have to examine what is life. We have to examine what am I here to achieve? And only when we examine, we will figure out, oh, I am not an ordinary being. I am someone much greater. And there is a divine purpose. And this purpose is to uplift myself, and in the process, if I do that, I will be the cause of upliftment of the society. And if we can uplift ourselves and one more person by our presence, not by teaching, by our mere presence, if we have done that, we've achieved the purpose of life. So when we say health management, what is health? We have physical health, we have mental health, and we have intellectual health. Please help them out. I think they are distracting others as well. Please take them upstairs, all four of them. So when we talk about physical health, mental health, intellectual health, this is a big topic in Vedanta. The physical health consists of understanding of our equipment. This equipment is not an ordinary equipment. This human bird, Vivek Chudamani starts from there. That this human bird is a divine bird. Jantunam narajanma durlabha pumstvam tato viprata, so on and so forth, that this human bird is so pure, so divine, the achievement that is possible is great. So when we look at the physical form, this physical form has a purpose. And the purpose is to maximize its potential to help evolve the subtle body. We have a gross body, we have a subtle body, and we have a causal body. So the purpose of the sthula sharira is to provide great sustenance for the subtle form. And the subtle form, subtle body, mind and intellect, Bhagavan Krishna addresses these two throughout the entire fabric of 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. The physical management, the physical form, Bhagavan Krishna finishes it off in just few shlokas here and there, especially in chapter 16, what should be the proper food intake to maintain the physical form, what should be the intake in terms of senses so that the mind and the intellect can grow, so on and so forth. Bhagavan Krishna reveals that the physical form, take care of it so that you can deliver maximum potential from the subtle body. And the subtle body, sky is the limit for its growth. Sky is the limit for the growth of the subtle body. Our mind is a flow of thoughts. It's a continuous flow. And if we can find a way to harness the energy of the flow of those thoughts, we have taken care of the mental health. And that can be done by improving the quality of thoughts and reducing the quantity of thoughts. These two things constitutes to mental health. One day, I had, Texas State troopers just drive into ashram, and I'm like, oh my God, what happened? Not 1, 2, 4 cars, and officers got out of the car, and I'm like, did something happen? Is there something wrong? So no sir, there is nothing wrong. We want to talk to you about something. And I said, oh my God, what is it? He said, is there a place where we can sit down and have a conversation? So I took them to our Bal Vihar building. We have a nice meeting room. We sat down, offered them water, and they said, we are from Texas State Department of Corrections, and we represent not just the State Department of Corrections, but we preside over a very high security jail, and we are in charge of death row inmates, and one death row inmate is their date is approaching to put them to sleep, and the person has requested a Hindu clergy to come and preside over when the state takes their life. And I was really shocked. He said, we looked everywhere looking for Hindu clergy, and we couldn't find. They called several Hindu temples, and there are only 2 monks in the state of Texas, Sarveshananji and myself. So they called, I was the first person. I called Swami, I said, do you want to go? He said, no, you go. So, and I pondered upon it. I've been pretty much raised in this country and proud to be a citizen of this nation, and if the nation needs help in terms of offering these services, regardless of what my personal views are on death penalty. It is something that the state has gotten approval from the voters. So I said, okay, let me go. I went to that place and oh my God, the description that we have of Naraka in our Puranas, it just described it. And it was so heart-wrenching. And the person was brought, they sat in front of me, and clearly disturbed. I mean, you imagine you're told that you're dying in 4 days, state is putting you to sleep. So I said, I don't want to hear anything, let's just do meditation. So I did guided meditation. Just like, how I started out. I usually start out all my talks with meditation because it helps us gather our mind. It is such an important equipment. And mental health is so important. And here I was in front of a person who's losing physical body. Mental health is just disarray. They've been given the worst news. And how do you even gather your thoughts intellectually? So I just did simple meditation. And I did it for a long time, about 20-25 minutes, just to calm them. And they became so calm. Persons of Indian origin and is a Hindu and wants to know, so what is going to happen of me? What is the doctrine of karma? Which naraka will I go to? What will Yama do to me? I was bombarded with all these questions. And I said, at this point in time, these questions are irrelevant. Whether a naraka exists or whatnot, whatever it is, gather yourself. Accept what is happening. It's very easy for me to say, but difficult for them. Very easy for me to say. But my answers were going to disturb them more, My answers would have disturbed that person more. The doctrine of karma, things have already happened. So I went through this whole process of, I said, admit what has happened, accept what has happened. To yourself, you don't need to tell me. Before they take you to those chambers, have a closure with this life. See, we are not going to have that closure. Most of us. We are just plucked. We don't know when death lurks around. For her, the day and the time is given. We don't. And Bhagavan Krishna in 8th chapter uses death to teach us how to live. So we have to learn how to live by realizing we don't have much time. And if we realize that I have to make the most of it, then actually not much Shastra is also required. It helps. Shastra helps. But all that is required is I have to be together over here. And I have to have basic common sense. Be happy. Be accepting of people and the world process. We've been unable to change ourselves, much less our spouse, our neighborhood, our children, our world. With great difficulty, on January 1st, we make resolutions, and if we are lucky, we will continue with the resolution on January 7th, 1 week. Great amount of inner fortitude is required to follow through with that resolution. It's a spiritual person who is able to look at something and says, I'm not going to do this. That is mental strength. Spirituality gives that. Some amount of religion is required, because what religion does is it prepares us at the level of body with discipline. I'm not going to eat this. I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to wear this. I'm not going to cook this. Easier said, but difficult to follow through. So religion, these dogmas, thou shalt do this, thou shalt not do that. The whole purpose is to discipline body and to discipline mind. That's it. There's no other purpose for religion. Just to bring us on the path of discipline. Once we have discipline, we can make this mind do what we want it to do. And that is what I said. Changing the quality of thoughts and reducing the quantity of thoughts. That can only be done provided we have some discipline. And when we have that discipline, that mind realizes this is not good for me. And once I realize it is not good for me, as knowledge and as acceptance, nobody is required to monitor whether I'm going to follow through or not. I will monitor myself. Yeah, not required. That's it. Over with. Done with. That is one of the Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi. There are 8 forms of wealth. Dhana Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi, Veera Lakshmi, Vijaya Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, Santana Lakshmi, Gaja Lakshmi. These are the 8 forms of wealth. And we all have it. We all have these 8 forms of wealth. Once we know how to transact with these wealth, we will be able to manage our life. There is a fine art of living, managing how to live. There's a beauty in it. And that is why, the privet drive with owl. We all have, this owl represents this 8 form of wealth, but we have to cultivate it in right proportion. There is nothing wrong with wealth. One of the Ashtalakshmi is Dhana Lakshmi. She's first. The green stuff is not bad. This city is known for making green stuff. It is our relationship with the green stuff which is of importance. No Vedas say, be poor, don't earn. No. What is this Hinduism? Vairagya, sab chhod do, sab chhod do, sab chhod do. What kind of pessimistic religion it is? It is not. There's nothing wrong with wealth. It is how we view wealth. Wealth is to be used for welfare of others. And if it is used for that, she will give us. Just look at, the Hindu Trinity gods. We have Brahmaji, the creator, and the consort is none other than Goddess Saraswati, because knowledge is required to create. Creativity comes out of knowledge. And if attention is diverted, not much creativity can be produced. So, focus is there. So, the deities of creation, Brahmaji and Saraswati, they have knowledge, they have arts, they have focused on it, they don't have children. Seriously. Think about it. That doesn't mean you should not have children. That's not the message I'm giving. That's not the message I'm giving. What I'm saying is, for creativity to flourish, what is required is attentiveness, time, energy. And if it is dissipated in other things, then we lose out on creativity. Then the next couple, maintenance. Creation is done, Brahmaji and Saraswati. Now maintenance. Maintenance, Mahavishnu and Lakshmiji. That is his department, maintenance. But maintenance cannot happen without wealth. So she's ever surrendered to his feet, pressing his feet. The pressing of the feet of Mahavishnu by Mother Lakshmi serving him is the service that we have to render to the world for the gift of life. Please don't misunderstand as Mahalakshmi being a servant of Mahavishnu. Not at all. A lot of people misunderstand that in Hinduism, women are not treated properly, blah, 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 blah. It just goes on. No. The dwelling place of Lakshmi is Vishnu Vakshasthala, on his chest. But she chooses to be at the feet because wealth is for serving. So 8 forms of wealth. If we own up, we won't grow. The art of wealth management is we have to turn it towards service. Dhana Lakshmi. Earn wealth, nothing wrong. Keep whatever you want to keep, but make sure she is ever in circulation. Our Shastra says 16% of it you give to the world. Give it back. Dhanya Lakshmi. In our India, Dhanya, food. We never say no to somebody who knocks on the door asking for food. Nowadays, we see so many people panhandling, and every time I see a panhandler, I'm reminded of what the Vedas say, that if there is a beggar on the street, that means the one who's looking at the beggar has taken more from this world than they are supposed to. Thus, somebody is left without food. Every time I see a panhandler, I'm reminded of the saying of Rig Veda. And I close my eyes and I chant that and I say, oh Lord, please, let his belly be full. That is Dhanya Lakshmi. Dhairya Lakshmi, our fortitude. Virya Lakshmi, the inner strength, Shakti, power is required to cultivate wealth, to circulate wealth, to inspire people, to make this world a better place. Vijaya Lakshmi, victory. Victory is over the negativities. That is true victory in Devi Mahatmyam. Vidya Lakshmi, she is a form of innate intelligence. Gaja Lakshmi, great power is required for one's own presence. Gaja meaning elephant, and two elephants are pouring water onto the most delicate, beautiful maiden. That is to show that in this universe, the dance of the universe is fickle, but we have to be strong and support the dance of the universe. And then Santana Lakshmi, children. We produce children for the sake of the universe. We should educate them, make them self-sufficient. This is wealth management on Mahavishnu's scale. Again, Mother Lakshmi is serving. She serves all children of the world, and she herself doesn't have any children. We look at it. Brahmaji, Saraswati, no children. Mahavishnu, Lakshmi, no children. Now we come to Shivji. Mother Parvati and Bhagavan Shiva. And a unique job is given to him. What one creates and the other one maintains, he has to do the samhar of that. If we destroy things with anger, it creates negative karmic debt. Because what is rightfully belonging to the universe, out of some desire gone wrong, we are destroying it. So Shiva has to be in meditation. His name is the one who is eternally auspicious. And only an auspicious person, a divine person, a calm person, a together person can preside over annihilation. Because he will do it out of compassion and love. He is the very murti of divinity. And thus, Shakti is with him. And it is this couple that is blessed with Vinayaka. A child who is not just the leader, but foremost among the leaders. So if a child is produced, the wealth of the progeny should be for the purpose of upliftment of the world, and that is Vinayaka. And the other one is Murugan, Skanda, Shanmukha Swami. He is Vela Murugan. He has Shakti Hasta. He is being given power of righteousness. He is also known as Senapati, the one who stands up for righteousness. So in creation, we have to lead creation with righteousness. These are the two children of Shiva. This is a vision of the wealth management from the standpoint of the trinity of Hindu gods that allow us to understand mythologically this world, creation. Theories have been written about creation. What is the purpose of it? We don't know. As many people, that many theories about the purpose of creation. And we are all right in our own standpoint. But the true purpose and theory of creation is self-upliftment and upliftment of others. That is a fine art in management of wealth. This is from, different standpoints I'm giving. Wealth management, health management. Just 2 years ago, they discovered a congenital birth defect in me. And I collapsed and I just called up a cardiologist who comes to our congregation. I said, something happened, I collapsed. He said, yeah, Swamiji, at your age, this is not normal. Come over here, I'll check you out. And put me on treadmill, and in 2 minutes he turned it off and he said, give me your car keys, you're not driving back home. Your EKG is completely abnormal. I need to take you to a cath lab right now. I said, I'm fine. He said, you feel fine, but inside you are not fine. Something is wrong. So, long story short, they found that the right coronary artery has anomalous origin and it is squeezed between very heavy blood vessels, and my heart was not getting blood. And so the only treatment for that is a massive surgery. I went from walking this, that, surgery. And then they were preparing me and they gave me a date that we have to do it ASAP. 3 weeks, they found place, whatnot. So, went ahead and I had multiple appointments with anesthesiologists, a cardiac surgeon, a cardiologist, just goes on and on. And the day before surgery, a special appointment to sign the papers. This thick, it's like a real estate deal, you are, buying something. That this drug we will give you, these are the reactions, this can go wrong. This drug we will give, this can happen. And then anesthesiologist, well, there are chances that, sometimes a patient doesn't wake up. So you have to sign over here that you may die in the operating room. I said, very good, then pack me up and send me, the body to Uttarkashi, and I signed. And they have a therapist sitting over there, and they have a social worker in case if somebody breaks down. And he's like, really, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm okay. If I die, I have to die. If Yama wants me, what can am I going to fight Lord Yama? Feel this way? I said, no, they didn't teach, but they taught me something that put senses back into my mind. And I realized the ephemeral nature of the universe, my purpose. And I tell you, I don't have anything in bucket for bucket list. If Yama has to come and take me today, I will go. I've given Gurudev 20 years of my seva, and I'm so privileged for this. I got good parents, good education, good work life. They still call me from my old job, please come back. I do consulting because they cannot find PE engineers, so I still have to do some consulting work. And I said, Jim, I will do some consulting work, but I'm happy. He said, if this monk thing doesn't work out, I'll come back. I said, no, I'm happy being a monk. It is working out just fine. So I told that anesthesiologist that, I'm okay. If I have to die, I have to die. That's all. The art in health management is understanding the purpose of health, We destroy health for wealth, and then we destroy wealth for health. This is what we do. Just look at all these, nicely all pumped up, dressed up, working out and Nitya Agnihotri. Every puff is a swaha, 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 swaha. Educated people, MBA from Cornell and UPenn and all. What good is an MBA from Cornell? You can make a company rich, but you destroyed yourself. God-given equipment gone down the tubes. What do we do? So we can only manage health provided we understand the purpose of life. Why is health given to me? I even met I was told the cardiac surgeon, he's a little bit temperamental, but he's a great surgeon. He was, after anesthesiologist he's done, then it was his turn. He came and he said, I hope you have not looked at YouTube on cardiothoracic surgery. I said, yeah, I know. I haven't. He said, I understand you have a lot of I come from a family of doctors, so my dad was a surgeon. I've helped my dad too with that. So from childhood I had seen what goes on. He said, I understand you have some medicine background. I said, yeah, I do have some family, not me. I'm an engineer and I'm a monk now. He said, well, a lot of things can go wrong. I said, yeah, a lot of things can go wrong, but a lot of things can go right. And he looks at me and said, that's a good way of looking at it. I said, a lot of things can go right. And the greatest thing which has gone right is, we are all alive. And I told him, you have a privilege of gifting life to others. And that's a great privilege. Don't think you're playing God, but He has chosen your hands to restore health. And he was so humbled by it. He said, you are right. I've never been told this. And it was such a small communication between us. And just still silence. Just like in meditation, I asked you guys to focus on silence. That silence is the cause of everything. The silence is divinity. And after that, for a few minutes, then he said, well, I must tend to the OR. These papers are to be signed. I said, yeah, I will sign. There's no problem. And I entered surgery at 5 a.m. The surgery was over at 1 p.m. 2 p.m. they tried to wake me up. I woke up. 4 p.m. they started me on walking. I started walking. By evening, they pulled me out of ICU into normal. And the next day, he said, this is rare, but in 28 hours, we are letting you go because you're doing so good. The lung capacity, they told me to inhale, exhale with that little gadget. I did 2-3 times and I just put it on the side. I said, I'm not going to use this. I will do my pranayama. And I did my pranayama continuously. And I had more lung capacity after surgery than before surgery. And today in Herman Memorial Hospital, they asked me to come and give talks to cardiac patients how to regain health. See, our health is dependent upon our mental health. Our physical health completely dependent upon how well we are educated about the spiritual nuances of life. That's all. That is all. If the inner wiring is proper, then this cannot but enjoy good destiny. That's all. A prarabdha the body has to go through, it will have to go through. We should never ever fight our destiny. We should look at our destiny. Initially, you may have to put a fake smile, but eventually we'll get onto the program that whatever arrives knocking on the door every waking minute of life is right for me. Our inability to handle that destroys our health and wealth. Our health is dependent upon our mental health. Mentally we are okay, come whatever may. Whatever may, I should be prepared. This body is a kalasha of water. They chanted with Purna Kumbha filled with water. It's a symbolic representation of the human body. And come out of that is the Pancha Koshas, which is what that coconut symbolizes. The outside husk is Annamaya Kosha. The hard shell, which we crack and destroys the coconut, that is Pranamaya Kosha, that keeps the coconut alive. Once you crack it and break it, over. In the same way, when the pranas leave, over. Then there is a black lining which is Manomaya Kosha. The white flesh is Vijnanamaya Kosha. Oh, I forget I'm using Sanskrit terms. So, the food sheet, and the hard shell is the vital air sheet. The black lining inside is the mental sheet. The white flesh is the intellectual sheet. And the water inside, it is the uniqueness of the Shri Phala is that water has never seen the sunlight. It has remained in darkness. That is the dark vasanas. But inside the darkness is the elixir of life, is the ambrosia, the amrita. And the only way to penetrate it is 3 eyes. Out of 3 eyes of the coconut, 2 are fake. 1 you will be able to pierce, the other 2 you cannot. These 2 are fake eyes. This is the real eye. And this body, 80% water. Any Hindu ritual, a kalasha is taken and it is eulogized with all types of chanting until the eulogy reorients the water at a molecular level, at the subatomic level, the entire H2O stops vibrating and becomes still or starts vibrating at the frequency of Narayana or Mahalakshmi or Ganapati or whoever is invoked, and that is poured onto the deity, and that is how our rituals are scientific. You imagine this body is a kalasha, 80% water. If good thoughts are chanted, the body reverberates in divine frequency. And if all this can produce is a 4-letter word, then the whole thing reverberates in a 4-letter word. But if Panchakshari is used, 5 letters, Om Namah Shivaya, the whole thing vibrates. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. This is that mental health completely reorienting in the physical health. This is how I have understood, management of wealth and management of health. I came over here wanting to hear what Swamiji has to say. And I didn't realize I would have to give a talk on what I have understood. See, this is the glory of Hinduism is you take a topic and you give it to anybody. And what comes out is the uniqueness of the person through that topic. When we were studying in Vedanta, our Swamiji was very strict. We had a board full of all these chits we had to pick up. And if we were doing 3rd chapter, and there would be 43 numbers in there. And whichever shloka it came out, you have to chant that shloka. You have to mention the meaning, Anvaya, and give a 5-minute talk on it. So today I have to give a talk on this topic. And I realized we will only be able to produce what we have internalized. Anything more, we cannot. When we look at health management, first and foremost, take care of your mental health. In summary, take care of your mental health. You owe it to yourself to keep your feelings and emotions upbeat for your sake. You cannot say, XYZ is making me angry. Nobody can make us angry. We choose to be angry. So take care of your mind. Nobody can make us angry. Nobody can make us happy. We make ourselves happy. We are responsible for our mental health. Intellectual health. That is why we have gathered over here. Join a study group. Study of Gita and Upanishads is only for intellectual health. Tasmat shastram pramanante karya karya vyavastito jnatva shastra vidanoktam karma kartum iharasi. Therefore, Arjuna, let scriptures be the guiding light. Follow them to the best of your ability and sharpen your intellect with proper knowledge. Worldly knowledge we have acquired. Spiritual knowledge we have to earn. Worldly knowledge, all this destiny is there. Spiritual knowledge, we have to cultivate a destiny for that. Gurudev used to say, you prepare and Guru will walk into your life. A right teacher will be there to ignite a lamp. And only a lit lamp can light another lamp. A blown out lamp can never light. So don't go looking for YouTube gurus. Find a teacher. Until then, perfect yourself. If you release this message in the universe will produce a guru. I speak from experience. When the time is right, he arrives. Mental health, we have to take care of ourselves. Intellectual health, we have to earn it. Physical health becomes a product of this. Once we are educated enough, when the Sukshma Sharira is proper, Sthula Sharira, when subtle body is proper, gross body automatically vitalizes. Gurudev used to function on 16% heart. He would roar behind a microphone and the cardiologist would be like, please stop, please stop, please stop. And he's like, get out of here, you cannot make me stop what I'm doing. I've been sent to do this. He's a living example. He would switch off his body consciousness like a switch to turn on and turn off. We can gain that mastery. It requires discipline, fortitude. And once we do that, that is called wealth management, because the greatest wealth is this equipment. And with that comes all other types of wealth. I have met plenty of millionaires who are spiritually bankrupt. And, nowhere has it been said that a spiritual person has to be poor. What kind of person is spiritually rich but materially poverty stricken? Never happens. Once a person rises in spirituality, the universe comes and worships the very feet that the person walks upon. Right food arrives, right amount of wealth arrives. Gurudev always used to say, you serve Goddess Saraswati and Mother Lakshmi will come running. Whatever is required, center will be taken care of. And I've gone to plenty of centers. What is required is there. No Chinmaya Mission center has gone bankrupt. Dhana Lakshmi, Dhanya Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi, Vijay Lakshmi, Virya Lakshmi, Vidya Lakshmi, Gaja Lakshmi, Santan Lakshmi, all Ashta Lakshmis. That is Gurudev, wherever he went, wealth was behind. A sannyasi who has given up everything, yet everything arrives. Kamanya kamate manyamana. Sa kamabir jayate tatra tatra. Paryapta kamasya kritatmanastu ihaiva sarve praviliyanti kama. The one who hankers after desires, the desires run farther and farther away. But the one who gives up all desires, the universe provides everything and the person rises. Pitiable is a person whose eyes are stuck on dollar signs and runs after it, like we see in Tom and Jerry. Because if we run after it, we will expend all types of wealth to acquire one and lose everything in the process. But if we take care of the real wealth, purpose, we are uplifted, the world is uplifted, and the world is one less person that produces burden for her. This is the art of managing health and wealth. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.